You're listening to Wellness Junkies, where wellness gets real, not perfect.
It's Amy, and I'm so excited to have Kate Talbert, MUA, at Kate Talbert, MUA, with us today. If you don't follow her, go follow her. She's amazing. She's a self-taught makeup artist turned beauty educator, and it is her mission to simplify beauty, the beauty world for her over 40 gang, going through easy to follow tutorials and simple makeup tips. And I can attest to that because I follow her. Her content's amazing. It's so easy to follow you, and your style is just so inviting and warm. And I could just watch your videos all day. So I'm so excited you're here to talk to us about makeup, skincare, favorite products. This is like our favorite topic. So excited. Yes. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat beauty. I could talk about it all day long.
Same. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. So how did you get started? I know you said you're a self-taught makeup artist, which is so cool, but like, how did you start, and how did you start the channel and all those sorts of things?
Yeah. So I was a kindergarten teacher for many years. So nothing to do with beauty.
That's why you're such a good educator.
I think that is part of it, is that I am a teacher at heart. And so I think I love that I've kind of combined that with beauty. But so I was a teacher, and then I had my own babies and decided I wanted to stay home with them. And I stayed home with both of my girls, and quickly just felt kind of a creative need to do something else. And do you remember the show Dawson's Creek or One Tree Hill?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So my sister worked on those shows. And so I kind of grew up watching the makeup artists on these shows. They were filmed where I lived. And so that's kind of how like the beauty bug kind of got put in me. It was by watching the makeup artists on set. And I would just watch them, and I became enamored with it, and I'd always done makeup for friends and family. And so finally I decided, well, I'm just going to start doing freelance makeup just kind of around town. And so I started doing that. And
this is, where was Dawson's Creek filmed? Like North Carolina?
Yeah, Wilmington, North Carolina, which is where I grew up.
Very cool.
And so I just started doing freelance makeup, and it kind of morphed, and I started doing small group classes. Like women would get together, 4 or 5 of their friends, and just come over, and we would all gather around my kitchen table, and I would just teach them makeup. It was very informal, but it was it just fed me so deeply, because oftentimes these groups of women were over 40, more often than not, moms who had put themselves on the back burner for many years. And then all of a sudden they're kind of, wanting to embrace makeup and skincare again. But, now that we're over 40, things have changed. And so it was just overwhelming. And so I loved doing these small group classes. Well, then COVID hit. And so that obviously went away. And I had a friend who said, you should do a video on how to do makeup for Zoom meetings, because everybody was doing Zoom meetings at that time. And so I was like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I did a video on how to do your makeup for Zoom meetings. And that was my first viral video. And that's kind of how it started. And so here we are, 4 years later.
That's so amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. I mean, you have such a great community. So it's really exciting. Okay. So let's get into it. What are the makeup mistakes that women over 40 make? Because I know that there's many.
Yeah, there are. And it's so hard, because it's like you grow up learning all these kind of tips and tricks, and nobody ever tells you that after a certain age, it's like they don't work anymore. And not only do they not work that well, but they almost work against you now. And so now we kind of have to relearn it. And so I think one of the biggest things is the over application of product. I think that we are so used to watching beauty tutorials where it's on film. And so people are piling on makeup because they want it to come through on film. And then when we try to recreate that in everyday life, especially if, our skin is over 40 and has texture, it immediately just becomes, it might look great on camera with the, lighting and all that, but in real life, it just ends up looking cakey and settling.
Yeah. And you look older.
Yeah, you do. It does. It's so true. It's like the more you put on and try to cover, the worse it becomes. I always try really hard to lead with a skincare focused approach. I found that for myself, when I was in my 20s, I could slap on a moisturizer and put on the makeup and it looked great. But in my 40s, I'm finding that the more that I focus on my skincare and skin prep and kind of the less makeup, the better it ends up looking. And so I really try to encourage women to study their skin and know their skin. I think that's probably the number one thing I tell women is figure out your skin type, figure out your undertones. Don't go just off of videos, because you can watch a million videos about how to do your foundation, but you've got to know your own skin tone and your skin type to figure out what's going to work for your skin and your structure. So I always tell women, I call it shower makeup. Like before you're getting ready to get in the shower and you don't have to be anywhere, take like 5-10 minutes and just play around with it. Like, just because you're not going anywhere, you're going to wash it off. It doesn't matter if you mess up. Try different eyeshadow techniques, try a different color on your lips, try different, brow part, like just kind of play with it and figure out what works for you in a way that's not, so it's not, 8 a.m. in the morning with little kids running around. You got to get out the door.
Right.
Give yourself 5-10 minutes and just kind of play so that you learn your own face structure and your skin type. And that is the best way to become your own makeup artist.
How do you figure out your undertone? I never know that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. And it's hard now because there's undertones and there's overtones. But one of the best ways, honestly, is if you make a fist and just like squeeze it. And if you look at the color in between the knuckle, that's a really good way to tell your undertone. So if you're seeing a lot of pink and red, and also if it goes really pale really quickly, that tends to be a cool undertone. If you're seeing more like green, purple, that tends to be a warm undertone. And if you're looking and you're like, oh, I can't really see either one of those, that tends to be neutral. That's my favorite way to do it. But there's all kinds of little tips and tricks, the color of your veins, again, kind of that blue purple leaves cool, whereas like green purple leans more warm. And then there's always in the middle with neutral. But as important as undertones are, I think I always tell people go first off of like your skin shades. We've got fair, light, light, medium, medium, dark, dark, deep, and then deep. And so you figure out kind of like one of those categories, and then you can figure out your undertone within that category. And that's kind of, once you have that in your mind and okay, I'm light, medium, neutral, you can pretty much match yourself to anything. But also there's great tools now online, like Find Nation, where you can put in your shade in any foundation. It'll match you to, a million other ones. So if somebody's trying to figure out what color they're going to be in, Armani foundation, and they've used Maybelline for years, they can put in their Maybelline color and it'll match them to the Armani.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's always the one thing. It's like, yes, that there's the light, medium, dark, all that, but then it will be like light, warm, light. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I know. I feel like I've tried both and I'm still like, I don't even know what looks good, but
I always tell people go into Sephora and have them swatch it on your face.
Yeah.
And leave and go in your car, because that's like the moment of truth. Because that's
for better, for worse.
Yeah, you're going to see every little thing, right? And then let it sit on your skin for like 10 minutes, because a lot of foundations oxidize. So they'll look great and then they'll turn a little bit yellow. And so just keep it on and go sit in your car for a few minutes and then look in the mirror, and you'll know pretty quickly what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Yeah, good tip. Okay, so what are your holy grail makeup products for mature skin?
Oh my gosh.
I know there's so many. I know you just did a whole Sephora reel of like all your favorites, which is great.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so many. And it's so overwhelming because they're constantly just coming out with new stuff.
Right. And everyone's skin is different, but is there anything you've seen that are like kind of everybody can use and should look at?
I think two brands that I have just been loving lately, and they're smaller brands that aren't as well known, which sometimes I think is just really neat to see new brands.
I know. I was actually going to say that. I was going to say that when I introed you, I really appreciate your content because you really do have a variety of brands, and you also find like really cool Amazon products too. And just like a lot of the brands you talk about aren't brands that everybody else talks about, which I really like.
Yeah, I do. I feel like sometimes it's the same things repeated over and over, and there's a reason. It's because those products, are great, but there's actually a bunch of smaller brands that are amazing. So 3 that I really love. The first one is this brand CL, and they're in Sephora, but this is a really neat brand because everything in the entire line has got at least minimum of SPF 30. So everything from the bronzer to the blush to the lip products to the base, like everything.
Oh, that's nice.
It's so nice, right? I always recommend using a separate sunscreen, but to have it to layer it is
right. Extra protection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. my husband was diagnosed with melanoma about a year and a half ago. So sun safety is something that's become super important to me. And so
Yeah.
I always preach layer your SPF, and this is a really good way to do that. And the products are just amazing, and they are made with women over 40 and they're very clean products, minimal ingredients, no fragrance. Like it's just, I love when a brand does one thing and does it really good. Like they're not
Yeah.
overly gimmicky. It's not like they're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Like this is what they do, and they do it really, really well. Another brand that I love and that's new is Sarah Creel, and she
I keep
is
hearing
actually
about this brand.
yes, and I stumbled on it one day on Sephora and I ordered it. I was like, oh my gosh, why is nobody talking about this? And now I think she's starting to pick up some traction, but her whole line is dedicated to mature skin. And she's got her concealer is definitely one of my favorites. It's called the Face Flex. And it's a concealer hybrid that you can use under the eyes, on the face. You can use it for coverage. You can almost use it as a foundation. She's got a moisture essence that's amazing that you can mix in with the concealer or the foundation and just make it like so much more hydrating and creamy. It like eliminates any creasing. She's got great skincare. She just came out with a new bronzer that I just got today, so I cannot wait to play with that.
Oh,
But every product from her I've loved. I haven't tried one that I haven't been like, this is so good. And then the third one is, I'm praying that I'm going to pronounce this right, but I believe it's Viev. And this is a smaller brand. They're not in Sephora. But you can get them online. I believe they might be in Blue Mercury, but again, just a brand that
how do you
kind
spell
of
it?
Vieve.
Okay.
And they, again, are like a skin first brand. So all their products are really like they've put a lot of research behind it in the ingredients. So this is one they've got a super rich Nova, and it's a tinted primer. Beautiful. I wear it almost every single day. They've got amazing balms, and so I think these three brands right now are ones that I'm just loving so much. And then of course I have staples like the Armani Luminous Silk is something I carried in my kit
Mm-hmm.
forever. It just is like one of those foundations that works for oily skin, dry skin. It just, it's like there's a reason that
Yeah.
it's been around forever. So the other thing was just I think like some of those brands that have been around forever, like Armani, and NARS and Estee Lauder, those are always great ones because they've been around for so long. They've kind of
Right.
perfected their formulas. And so again, there's a reason why certain products are talked about over and over again. It's, because they're good and
Yeah.
they work. So, but again, I think it's knowing your skin tone, knowing your skin type so you can figure out exactly what you need. But these three brands are ones that just really excite me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
I'm
think
excited to
what
try
else? Oh,
those.
I also love Iris and Romeo. They're in Sephora, a smaller brand too. They make really good. This is like a dewy coverage and a 3-in-1 with sunscreen. But
Ooh.
so any product that's like skin focused, creamy. I don't like really full matte, heavy coverage products just because it's hard to work with.
Yeah.
I like products that I can build. One of the first things I learned by watching these really talented makeup artists like on set is that they work like the number one thing behind really beautifully done makeup is that they work in really, really thin light layers. Like you're not going to see them piling on foundation.
Right.
They're working in these light thin layers and building it up so that it looks good on camera. And so I try to always just keep that in the back of my mind, like products that are going to melt into the skin versus just sitting on top of the skin. There's no makeup is ever going to look like skin. It's just not possible, but we want to get as close as possible.
Yeah, I saw that you were talking about, I think it was in your Sephora favorites, I think the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzer, which I love too. I just talked about that on the show recently. It's so easy and it like melts in. It's so great, so natural. Okay, so for those people who are looking for smoothing, lifting, let's say you're not into Botox or any of that stuff, like have you seen any skincare makeup products that kind of help with the smoothing and lifting?
Yeah, I think, yes. I think there is some really amazing technology going on in skincare right now. Um, I think I really love the line Skin Better. I know it's a pricier line, but they've got some really amazing formulas behind their products. I also swear by there's a company called Herbal Face Food, and they make a couple of different things, but in particular they make this serum, and it's made completely out of plants, and it is transformative. I've used
Wow.
that for about 3.5 years now. And it's incredible. And that's not just for the skin on your face. I use that on my girls if they get sunburns or bug bites or anything like that. It's so healing for the skin. I also think drugstore skincare has come a long way too.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's not something where you have to. I tell people when it comes to skincare, things like cleansers and moisturizers and even sunscreens, you don't have to spend a ton of money on. Like
Yeah.
invest your money in one, I call them like heavy hitter serums, like something that is really going to target what you want to target. That's where you want to put your dollars. Cleansers, you can find great ones everywhere. They're on your
Yeah.
skin for 60 seconds and they go down the drain. You want them to do one thing, and that's cleanse. So if things like, retinol and vitamin C, they're going to help with cell turnover, all that. So yeah, I think those are probably my favorite lines at the moment. Oh, there's also, this is a newer one, but this is Dr. Idris, and she just got in Sephora, but it's a dermatologist. And I had melasma after both my pregnancies, and
Mm.
she's got a whole line dedicated to like hyperpigmentation and melasma and uh, discoloration. That's fantastic. That's at Sephora right now, and I really, really love that one as well.
Okay, I love that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I've maybe heard of her, but I don't know. That's really good to know.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask you, you were mentioning skin prep before, and what do you like? Do you recommend different skin preps if you're like, for example, putting on makeup to go out at night versus just like everyday makeup?
Yeah, definitely. I think for if you're, I always say when I prep skin for something like a wedding or a photo shoot or like a night out or something special, I do approach that much differently than just like my everyday makeup. If I know that
Hmm.
I need that makeup to look good on camera and to last a really long time, my approach is going to be very different versus every day. I think I try really hard to I found personally that makeup looks better the more basic the skincare is. I feel
Right.
like when we do these like 10-step routines and it like the skin, it's just too heavy. The skin can't handle it, you know? And I
Yeah.
get it. I'm so guilty of that. Like I want all the good things on my face. Like I want to
Right.
put everything on, just pile it on there. But that often, defeats the purpose and doesn't look great under makeup. So another really big thing is I don't think a lot of people realize that once you're done with your skincare that you really want it to sit. I think we're getting ready in
Mm.
the morning and we're doing it and then immediately going with makeup. And then that's causing separation. And skincare can almost act like a cleansing balm when mixed with makeup, causing it to separate and kind of create those little balls on the face and move around. And
Yeah.
so always tell women after your last skincare step, which typically is going to be SPF, let it sit. Like if you can give it 10 minutes, that's ideal. If you don't have 10 minutes to spare, then at minimum 2 to 3 minutes, and then take a little bit of tissue paper and kind of blot just so any excess product gets soaked up. Um, but otherwise it's gonna be too much for the makeup to really grip onto the skin.
Yeah. So what are some examples of like a morning, like a, everyday kind of makeup skin
Yeah.
prep routine, and then you're going out at night and you know.
Yeah. So for every day, just like, you know, go running about town and doing stuff. I always start with a hypochlorous spray. My favorite one is from Hydrinity.
Hmm.
It's as strong as bleach, but gentle as water. It kills all the bad bacteria while maintaining the good bacteria. I've used it for years and years. I use it on my girls now as well, just because it's really
Is that
cleansing.
kind of like the Tower 28, like
It,
antibacterial spray,
yeah,
something like
it is.
that?
It is. I don't love the Tower 28 one because it's got fragrance in it, which I just feel like is an
Yeah.
unneeded ingredient. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be there. I get it's kind of part of the you know, whole experience of it, but it's just, you don't need
Yeah.
it. So I like the Hydrinity one because it's just hyperchlorous. But there's also, that one is around 60. There is one on Amazon called Skin Fix, and that one's around 20, a
Hmm.
better price point, and it's just hyperchlorous too. So I start with that, and then I always have some type of antioxidant serum. That's going to be like my heavy hitter. Normally for me, that's either Skin Better Alto or Herbal Face Food. I tend just to rotate those two on days. For an eye cream, I use facial oil typically because I've found that for me, the thinnest part is underneath my eyes. And I was finding that when I put on eye creams, one, it was causing the little white bumps, but two, the concealer would just slide around. And so I found that when I do a facial oil, it just kind of sinks in right away.
Yeah.
So I do a facial oil and then I do a moisturizer. I've used the same one forever. It's from Dr. Sam Bunting and it's called Intense Moisturizer. And it's just, I've used it for as long as I can remember. And then I do my sunscreen and I always use a tinted sunscreen, always, because it offers a higher degree of protection.
Yeah.
And then I don't do anything. I just let it sit for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then primers are kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
Some people don't think they do anything. Other people love them. I think it totally depends on your skin. I'm a big believer in smoothing primers, but only like in the T-zone. I don't think you need to put a primer over your entire face. I love this one from YSL. This is actually one that I repurchased, but just something that will kind of smooth out texture and pores. And so I'll put that right in the T-zone and then I'll let that sit for a minute or two and then go in with my makeup. If I have a client that's got really, really dry skin, then I will almost always end the skin prep with a facial oil because I just want something lighter than a cream that's going to sink in deeper. Yeah. That she's not just getting that surface level hydration, but that it's going to like continue to stay hydrated throughout the day. Facial oil is one of the best ways to prep.
I was just going to say, do you have a good facial oil?
I do. My favorite one is from True Botanicals. It's their Radiance oil. It's just really good. It plays really well with makeup. You can mix it in. You can put it in by itself. It's just a great facial oil, and it's going to be perfect if you got. It's sensitive skin friendly. It works for pretty much everybody. If it's like a night out or an event, then I'm going to be really minimal on skin prep, which I know seems kind of backwards, but
interesting.
If it's a big event, we're going to have to layer on more makeup than we normally would, right? Because I'm assuming it's like a wedding or something. You're going to have pictures and we need more makeup than you think you are going to need. And so I want to keep the skin prep minimal because I don't want a lot of heavy layers underneath the skin. So for something like that, I'm going to do a hydrating mist. I'm going to layer liquid hydrators instead of heavy creams. So I'm going to be doing a hydrating mist, a hydrating serum, something like peptides. And then I'm going to go in with a really lightweight oil, like just really hydrate the skin, but not a lot of heavy creams because a lot of heavy creams they're just going to mess with the makeup later on.
Wow. Okay.
I know. It's good to know. Kevin Aquan, who is one of my favorite makeup artists. He's amazing. I mean, he's since passed, but I grew up reading all of his books. I mean, I've got them.
I remember that book
right here.
Yeah, that like famous book.
Just, I remember being like 10 looking through that, and he would transform people.
Yeah.
And he used to, in one of his books, he used to have his models lie on the floor and he would sit on top of them and do their makeup, like just like painting them. And I mean, that's how he did it. And, but in all of his books, he talks about just slathering them with oil, like just facial oil. That was the only thing he used was facial oil. And just because it was hydrating and it makes the skin glow and it doesn't mess with the makeup and you can mix it in with the makeup and it's such
I never really realized that. I mean, I have a oil that I use under my eyes. I think it's Cora. I can't remember.
Yep.
And I love it, but it's good to know about that facial oil because I use facial oil, but it's more of like a cleansing balm facial oil. And I always love it. And I never know what's good under makeup because you would think that a facial oil wouldn't be good under makeup because it's like greasy or whatever, but interesting. I'm going to try that.
Yep. And I think there are definitely different oils perform differently. So I think something like the Radiance oil, the organic oil that you're talking about, that's another great one. They make oils that are much more lightweight than like a cleansing oil, which is going to be heavy. And I use a cleansing oil too. It's my favorite way to remove my makeup.
Same.
I just think it just gets every last little thing. That's another one is I think double cleansing
Game
So
changer.
hugely helpful. Yeah. Yeah. And then
That's a,
applying the oil onto dry skin too.
mm-hmm.
I used to get my skin wet and then do it. And then my esthetician was like, you've got to apply it to your skin completely dry. And I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. And she's right. It does. She was like, because you want the oil to kind of attract all the makeup and SPF and all that. And so I think double
Yeah.
cleansing is huge.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay. So let's talk about eyes a little bit. So like, I know
Yeah.
you do a lot of stuff on crepey eyelids, droopiness, fine lines. Like what's your
Yep.
advice for eye
All the
makeup
fun
that,
things.
yeah, that like stays put, looks fresh, awake. I know we talked about some like the Sarah Creel and others, but like
Yeah,
anything else around that area? Cause that's the hardest I feel.
it is. Eyeshadow, so it can get overwhelming and hard. I think keep it simple. I think the more colors we layer on, the more it can just one become overwhelming for us, but two, it's almost like the more you pile onto this area, the worse it tends to look. I love cream shadows. I'm a huge believer in them
Mm,
because it's just like one swipe and you're done, and it looks like you spent so much more time. Um, I always tell women don't put a bunch of concealer on your eyelids because it's going to be too emollient.
mm,
Um, a good eye primer can go a long way. Milani makes a fantastic one. And then using like a really good cream shadow as a base too, like the MAC paint pots. I've used those for years and years and years. It just puts down the perfect base on your eyes.
mm,
Um, I think in terms of like matte versus shimmer, I've never been one of those people that's like, you can't wear shimmer if you're over this age. Anybody can wear shimmer, you do whatever makes you happy. But I always tell women start with a matte base. Like don't start with a really heavy glitter, start matte and
mm,
then build up as you go. Um, I also tell women all the time, like if you just take a concealer and eventually you'll not need to do the concealer, but just taking one and this way this works for all eye shapes, but like from the outer corner of your lower lash angled up to the brow, I'll just have them draw like a line of
mm,
concealer right there. That way they just have like a visual for where they don't want to bring that shadow past. And because it's going to be, every face and eye shape is different, this is going to work for your specific eye shape. And I just have them do that so that they can see, okay, I don't want to bring my shadow past this point. I want to bring it up this way. Because I think as we're applying eyeshadow, trying to see if I have an eyeshadow brush out here. Yeah, I do. I think a lot of times when women are applying eyeshadow, they're doing this back and forth, back and forth.
yeah.
And what's happening is they're coming, like it's coming down, you know? And so I try to tell women, like, come up, like hold your brush vertical and above that crease, because we put it in the crease and then it's like it gets hidden by the hood and the fold and all the fun things. So it's like uncomfortably high, like it should be where you're like, this is not right, but it's very much right. It's you have to go
Yeah.
uncomfortably high.
Um, do you put concealer on your lids so like the shadow stays better or doesn't get like separated? Or what do you do to kind of keep it like smooth looking?
Yeah, I don't do concealer on the lid unless if I do concealer on the lid, then I'm going to do concealer and I'm going to set it with a powder.
Okay.
But typically I use a tinted eye primer, and the
Oh.
two that I alternate between is the Milani Make It Last eyeshadow primer.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, and the MAC Paint Pot, particularly in the shade Painterly or Soft Ochre. Those are they just work for all different skin tones. And I take a tiny amount, like teeny tiny, and I just
Yeah.
pat that into the lid, let it sit for like 60 seconds. And then sometimes if it's a client that's got a really hooded eye or a lot of excess skin, I will go in with a Q-tip and just kind of wipe off any excess product and just make sure
Yeah.
it's really smoothed out, then go in with the eyeshadow.
Yeah. Cause that's what I find like the older you get, like that area gets kind of like the
Yeah.
texture isn't
Yes.
smooth. It's kind of creepy. And then it's like
I know.
shadow
And it
doesn't
just
look
makes
good.
it
So those are good
so much
tips. Yeah.
harder. I think cream shadow helps a
Yeah.
lot too because it's more hydrating. So it doesn't sometimes the powder eyeshadows can look a little bit like the word I'm looking for, kind of dusty, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially if like you're
And like
layering
dry.
on. Yeah. And I think cream shadows they go on beautifully. I mean, Like the Armani eyeshadow tints. I love those. Those are so
Yes,
easy
I
to
have
work
some of
with.
those. They're beautiful.
Oh, they're beautiful. And then this RMS, these are the cashmere eye lights. These are
Ooh.
great. They're so good. And they just came out with a whole range of just matte shades. Up until now, they've just been like shimmer shades. But now they've got matte and they're just like
Oh,
the
nice. And you could
prettiest
probably just apply it with your
neutral
finger.
colors. Yeah, you just apply with your finger. You can buff out the edges with a brush and call it a day. I mean, just easy.
Yeah. I haven't tried a lot of RMS, but I want to.
Yeah.
Do they sell it at Sephora?
Yeah,
Oh, do they? Okay.
they don't. I wish they
Oh, they
did.
don't.
I don't think they
Yeah.
do though, but I like them a lot. Sephora does carry this brand. It's Violet FR.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
do really pretty matte eyeshadow shades too. And they just launched in Sephora. So I was so glad to see them in there because now you can go in store and get them. But
Yeah. Okay.
also Merit Beauty does cream shadows that are great. And Jillian Dempsey has got great
Oh, yeah. I
cream
haven't tried
eyeshadows
hers.
as well.
I have some of that. That reminds me, I do have some Merit shadows I need to try. It's funny. I bought like a 3-pack of really pretty shadows, but like one of them is too dark, one of them is too light, and
Yeah.
the middle one is good. It's just funny
It's
because like the light one, you can't even see, the dark one's like too much. Maybe
Yeah,
it'd be good for
yeah.
nighttime, but the consistency is really beautiful and
Yeah.
very moisturizing, like very
Yes,
hydrating.
yeah. Absolutely. Yep. And Ilia makes good ones too.
Ilia. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're more liquidy, but they're great. They come in like similar to this, like a little applicator, and you can just swipe it on and
I love Ilia.
that's it.
Such good
Yeah.
stuff.
So many good things.
Okay. So I know you do this a lot too on your feed, luxury makeup, skin products or makeup. Like, which ones do you think are worth the splurge and which ones are not? Because there's so many obviously good dupes. So like, what are your favorite, like high performing, budget friendly alternatives to some of the like high end, or what high ends you like that is worth investing in?
Yeah. So I think worth the investment, skincare, like those had like the really good antioxidants and retinols, those are going to be worth it. In particular,
Yeah.
brands like Skin Better, Hydrinity, those brands that have just been around for a while. I will say I do think the Armani Foundation is worth the splurge. I just do. I just think it's beautiful. Um, things that are kind of like overly gimmicky, and I hate to say that, but things like the Glow Recipe serum blushes, they're really pretty, but I don't think they're worth. I mean,
Yeah.
get just as good at the drugstore. That like I
Yeah.
wouldn't be spending a lot of money there. Things like the Rare Beauty highlighters, even like the Charlotte Tilbury skin tint that came out. I got this one, and then I mean, this is the Milani one is better.
Yeah.
Things like that. If I was going to spend money on makeup, I would spend it in the foundation and concealer area.
Yeah.
There's so many great drugstore mascaras. I don't even know why you would need a
So
high
many.
end. I mean,
Yep.
there's so many, and they're so good. Unless you just want a particular mascara that's higher end, like there's just so many. Same for lip liners. I mean, my gosh, the Maybelline lifter lip liners, that's pretty much all I use now. Whereas like I use that one over my Patrick Ta lip liners pretty much every day. The new Maybelline. This is the new Lumi Matte.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect for mature skin because it is not fully matte, but it's not fully Lumi either. It's like that sweet spot right in the middle.
Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful. I would say this is as close as you're going to get to this.
Wow.
Like that's what this reminds me of. Like that perfect kind of unicorn of in between matte and luminescent.
Yeah.
Love that. And so I think what else? Yeah, I think if I was going to go to Sephora and put my money in somewhere, foundations, concealers, and brushes. I think brushes, having a really good set of makeup brushes, I think those are worth the investment.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. We kind of talked about this before, and the oil I'm sure will help, but like a lot of times, you know how sometimes you wake up and your skin just looks kind of like dull and flat.
Yeah.
How do we get that fresh, dewy look without going into like the shiny, greasy territory, but like just that fresh, glowy vibe?
Yeah. I think one, chemical exfoliating is like love language. That's how you get that glow, you know? I think sometimes a lot of women get scared of that because it's like, oh, like acid and chemical, like it sounds kind of scary, but lactic acid is one of my favorites because it's so gentle.
Yeah.
So starting with a chemical exfoliant just to kind of really get the complexion glowing, like get it decongested. That's always my first step. Second thing, there are two different KJH, which is Katie Jane Hughes. She has a brand. She's a big makeup artist. And she has a brand. It's small. There's not many products, but one of them is called the Hyper Glow. And this sounds so bizarre, but it's like a highlighter, but there is no shimmer, no glitter. It was kind of formulated for women of all ages. I love putting that on the skin underneath any base. Like, so instead of applying your foundation and then applying it, I keep it underneath so that the skin just kind of like it glows through the makeup, if that makes sense. And I
Is
don't
it, do you put it all over your face, or is it just like?
Just, I wish I had it with me. It's like in a little tiny pot.
I've seen it. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And I just like the high points, just
Okay.
cheekbones, bridge of the nose, Cupid's
And you do
bow.
it under. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, under. Because sometimes if you do your foundation, you do your concealer, all the things, and then you go in with it, it looks like too shiny, you know,
Yeah.
it's like too much. But if it's underneath everything, it just sort of, it's like you're just kind of glowing, you know, it's like that little, like, what is she wearing? Like that looks different, but it's not so
Blinding.
obvious.
Yeah.
Yes. And a good drugstore one is the L'Oreal Lumi glasses. These are great.
What is that?
The L'Oreal Lumi glass. They're
Okay.
highlighter sticks. They're beautiful.
Ooh.
But I would just take that and just do like a little bit on the bridge of the nose or the cheekbones, and then apply foundation on top of it. Yeah, just to kind of get that like
so pretty.
Glow.
Yeah, that fresh look. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get it, I want to get into our wrap session, quick fire questions. But I mentioned in the beginning, but people can find you at Kate Talbert MUA on Instagram, right? And do you have TikTok or YouTube, or are you mostly Instagram?
I do. I have TikTok as well. It's the same username. And then I also have Facebook, and I do have YouTube, but I'm not as nearly consistent over there as I am on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I love your content. So congratulations on all the great stuff. It's amazing. And yeah, I think you had said this in your bio, but like you provide gentle guidance, and that's so true. Like it's very unintimidating. It's just like does make you feel more confident in like trying to get that makeup look. And so we appreciate you.
That's always my goal, is just, it's like you have a girlfriend there sitting kind of walking you through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love your accent too. Okay. So what is your favorite wellness or beauty hack?
Oh gosh. I hate to even say this because I hate it with every ounce of my soul. But like cold plunges, I hate them so much, but they
I know.
work.
They
work.
do. I know they're brutal, but
they're awful. I hate them. Like there's nothing in me that, like, I'm a creature of comfort. I don't like to be cold. No, I hate it so much, but gosh, does it work?
It really
It helps
does.
with everything. Like, but it's so good for your skin and your hair. And I wish it didn't work. I wish it didn't.
I know. It is amazing. Do you ever do like cold water at the end of a shower?
Yeah.
I do that, but it takes a lot for me to do it because I don't want to do it, but then I do it and I feel good, but it's like brutal. It's not a fun way to end your shower.
Not at all. And some people say to do it first thing in the morning, because if you do it, like do the hardest thing first.
Yeah.
And I like my showers, like I want to be red. Like I like
me too. I'm the same way. Yeah.
I want it, like my husband's always like, oh, how do you do that? I'm like, how do you not? Like,
yeah, I know. It feels so good.
Shower sounds horrible. I want to be burned, but I will dunk my face in ice a lot.
Yeah.
I love icing. I ice my face pretty much every single day.
Really? I haven't done that. You literally just dunk it in.
Yep. Yeah. And I'll do it like the sweet spot, they say, is like 5 to 7 times, but yeah, I'll do that every day.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's why you look so good. How old are you, by the way?
I turned 40 in just a few weeks.
Okay. You look amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so
you
much.
look like you're in your 20s, literally.
Oh my gosh. I wish.
Okay. So you kind of answered this before, but this is just like your everyday, we call it our 5-minute flow. So you just got out of the shower, you're going out for the day, Uber's downstairs. You got 5 minutes to get ready. Like, what do you throw on your face? What do you throw on your body? Like, how do you get out the door? What are your go-tos?
Bronzer immediately. I put bronzer all over my face. I call it warming the base. Just even if I don't have time for foundation, I'm going to have bronzer on my face because I feel like everybody looks better with a little bit of a tan.
Yeah.
Like I grew up on the beach and just, I can remember summertime coming around and my friends and I being like, we all look so much better.
Totally.
A little bit of color on our skin.
Yep.
Yeah. Same thing, just kind of faking it with bronzer. So bronzer, a cream blush, and I love something that can double for my lips. So I'll do bronzer, cream blush, same thing on my lips, the bronzer on my eyes, mascara, and that's it.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good every day.
I just have to like go, oh, and like a brow gel too. Brow gel.
Oh yeah. Love a brow gel.
Yeah. Yeah. Just something to like quickly. I got my brows microbladed about a year ago. It was one of the best things I ever did.
Really?
Because I hate doing brow. It's my least favorite.
Is that the thing? I think we had someone on the show once talking about that. I don't remember the exact name. Is that where they like kind of make
tattoo?
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's like it's really weird. They create little like cuts in the skin, which sounds horrifying, I know. And then they put the pigment in. And I would have never done it, but one of my really good friends here owns a spa, and she's we call her like the brow expert. She just anything brows, and she does it so beautifully, and it just kind of enhances what's already there.
Yeah,
I don't have to fill brows ever again. Like I just run a gel through them, and that's it.
And they just they look great, so they just kind of stay in place. And does do you have to keep getting that done, or how often do you have to get that done?
You want to do a touch up every 2 to 3 years.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad at all. And I just don't ever have to fill them in. It's so nice.
That's amazing.
Especially
have you ever go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're somebody who like has patchy brows or like sparse brows, it's so nice because it creates the outline for you and then you don't have to think about it.
Yeah. And the shape's already there. Nice. I've seen people do, that reminds me of I've seen people do this like lip blushing, I think it's called.
Yes. Yeah.
Which looks scary, but also interesting.
It does. The same, my friend who did my brows, she just started doing lip blushing too. And she was like, you want to come in and do it? And I was like, I kind of do. I'm a little scared, but I kind of do. It does hers look great. So I know
it's like, you probably don't have to wear lipstick. You can just throw on a gloss.
Yeah. And you're done.
Yeah.
I do really like have you seen those peel off lip stains?
I've seen them. I haven't done them.
Yeah. I was kind of iffy because I was like, it looks kind of like gimmicky, but I really like them.
How long does the lip stain last?
To put on. I would say probably about a good 7 to 8 hours.
That's great. Yeah. Okay.
You put it on and it looks horrifying.
It's like the blue.
What have I done? Well, some are blue, but they also have some that just go on red or pink and you just leave them on and then peel them off. And it's like it stains your lips.
Does it make your lips dry?
No, it really doesn't. I mean, I always put a gloss on because I like a glossier lip, but you wouldn't have to. It doesn't dry them out or anything.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I need to try that. Those look fun.
Yeah. And they're not super expensive. So if you get it and, hate it, it's not.
Right. It's just fun to try. Better than doing the lip blushing where you can't go back.
There's needles and stuff involved.
Exactly. It looks painful.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you are a busy lady. You've got 2 kids. You're married. You have a whole social presence. So how do you maintain your daily nirvana?
Oh, no.
You're like, I don't.
I can hear my husband somewhere cackling. Yeah. Oh, that's so hard. I deal so much with mom guilt because I worry all the time that I'm on my phone too much and that I worry too. I've got 2 girls. My oldest is getting ready to turn 10 and she's like a little 80-year-old lady in a 10-year-old body. She's like my old, sweet, sensitive soul. And she'll ask me sometimes why do you have a job on your phone? And why is makeup important? And so I've tried really hard to demonstrate for her that makeup is something that is fun and creative. And I look at it like art and an outlet, but it's not something that we have to have. It's
Right.
not anything that you need. You don't have to put on a mask to go out in public, and so we're really kind of right in the middle of that. And so I'm really learning how to talk to her about that. But also we have a no phone rule at our dinner table, which used to be really hard because I posted my content at night, but I was just finding myself constantly reaching for it. And so the phone is it goes up from dinner time until bedtime for my girls,
Yeah.
just out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
But it's really hard because my entire job is on my phone. And
Yep.
it's not like when you go to work, like I tell my husband this all the time, like you have these dedicated office hours and you're there and daddy's gone and you can't talk to him and you get your stuff done. Whereas me, I'm 10 minutes here, an hour there when they're at school, 30 minutes here in the carpool. Like it's these little chunks of time. And
Right.
so it's so easy to feel like, oh my gosh, the whole day went by and I don't feel like I accomplished anything because it was just in these 10-minute increments. But also I just think having grace for ourselves and realizing that you just can't do it all. And also I think if anything that I've learned over, doing this for a couple of years, it's just that social media is not real. Like we're just seeing a really short snippet of people's lives.
Right.
And I try really hard not to follow or look accounts that make me feel bad about my own life. Like if I'm watching something and I'm finding myself comparing myself to that, it's a good sign to me that I need to not watch it anymore. And that's not anything against that creator. I need to not be consuming that. I think our brains were not meant to consume this much information all the time.
It's insane.
Like we don't need to know all these things. And also I try hard I used to kind of share my girls more on my stories. I've kind of don't do that as much anymore.
Right.
So kind of protect my little bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And kind of like what's sacred to me. And also realizing that, they are their own little humans and they don't need to be put out to the world until they're ready to do that themselves. So
exactly.
I try to, protect them as much as I can.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah. They say like the longer you wait to give your kids social media, especially girls, the better. Because then once they have it, it's like, forget it.
No, we're hard and fast on that. Thankfully my 10-year-old has never asked for one but she's got lots of friends that do have a phone and
I know that's the problem.
She has a little watch that we can call her on.
Yeah.
But other than that, she doesn't have anything. So
yeah, that's
just
good.
Don't need it. Go ride your bike. Go be a kid. Go outside. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you've given us so much amazing tips and knowledge and thank you so much. What's next for you? Where do you see yourself headed?
Oh my gosh. I see myself, I think my next step is probably going to be to move more into long form content because I really just love teaching. That's really what feeds me. And it's so hard to teach sometimes in 90 seconds.
Right.
And so I see myself probably moving a lot towards YouTube where I can just share longer content.
Yeah.
And
we would love that.
Thank you. And I know that's why I got the DSLR. I was like, I have to learn.
Yeah, there you
go. And also I would love at some point I love the idea of creating an app or something where I can really bookmark all my videos, all the resources, shopping guides, like everything kind of in one place. That's later on down the road, but that's kind of what I'm seeing in the future. Just something, one place where everything is consolidated and that women can go and easily find exactly what they need.
Very cool. Love that. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Absolutely.
I loved hearing everything.
A pleasure.
Yeah. And we'll be continuing to watch you and cheering you on. Thanks for listening to Wellness Junkies. For more on today's episode, follow us on Instagram at Wellness Junkies Official and find us on TikTok and YouTube at Wellness Junkies. You can also head to wellnessjunkiesofficial.com for expanded show notes, product links, and more. If you love the episode, leave a review and share it with a friend. We appreciate the love. Catch you next week.
Bye.